Before we go, I do want to say a quick thank you to Cookies Barbecue and let everyone know that these are the sauces that America loves to eat. Seasonings, sauces can be found on cookiesbarbecue.com and obviously at your local grocery store. Remember, smart cookies choose cookies. Let's get into this episode, guys. This is a fun one.
All right, folks, welcome back to this week's Iowa Chill Show. We got a cold one. I wish the state of Iowa had better sports right now, particularly basketball, but it's going to be a fun episode. It's a dreaded week for Bryce and I and our good friend Scotty, but we learned from last year's mistake. We're going to make a better Valentine's Day this year. Folks, let's have a good one. Bryce, how we doing?
Good. But, I mean, I don't know if it really could be going any worse. I feel fine, but sports suck. It's a damn near polar vortex. Nothing is going well. We got Valentine's Day, one of the dreaded holidays of the year coming up. It's the dark days for the boys, I'd say.
And it's for January. I mean, it's some of the worst.
Ugh.
February just never works good for anyone, especially in the state of Iowa. We're going to start off right with this weather. It's terrible. It's not quite as bad as the polar vortex, which happened 2 years ago, but it's damn near, dude. It's like -15. I mean, it's not like it's like 3 or 4 days. It's like a week and a half straight. I've seen that it's going to be at least the low would be like anywhere from like -10 to -15.
Yeah, we're at least a week, and I don't see it. I mean, even when it gets better, it's like 20. So we're in the thick of it. There's plenty of snow. We've had more snow than we did all of last year already. That little hedgehog Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow. So we're gonna be in some deep winter, I feel like, for the next month or so.
That little bastard.
He has something. He got a lot of power, and I think he knows it. The one thing that you can normally count on is sports being fun. Sports suck right now.
Yeah, we're gonna hop in here sports in just a little bit, but everything just sucks. That little gopher. What was I gonna say? Oh, the one good thing about this weather is I don't have any ambition to go out, so I feel completely sober. It feels good.
That's good.
I don't have to go out and fight the cold. I don't know if you guys battled the cold this weekend. Did you?
I feel horrible today. Terrible day.
You still found a way. You found a way to get out.
I couldn't be at more rock bottom right now.
Oh,
everything is miserable. Hungover from the Super Bowl. I got meat and cheese and meatballs coursing through my veins. I'm not in a good spot right now.
I've had a terrible experience on the toilet for the last 3 days, and the Super Bowl did not help that.
Yeah. What did you think of that game?
Was it a game?
No, that was one of the worst Super Bowls. I compared it last night to the Peyton Manning and Seahawks year, where like the Broncos were a heavy favorite and then scored maybe a touchdown.
Yeah, the Seahawks just destroyed them.
Yeah, it's a similar game. Like, not fun to watch. Really, like, you hope for a competitive game. Wasn't competitive from start to finish. Tampa Bay defense looks amazing. Tristan Wirfs from Iowa gets a ring, which is cool, I guess. But man, Tom Brady just seems like the only way that you can win a Super Bowl in the NFL.
Yep, you never bet against Tom Brady. But the one good thing out of the Super Bowl is that we probably got our $25. I know I did.
Yep.
Did you?
Yep. And then I instantly put that money back down into it. And to continue with the woes, I didn't win one bet last night. I didn't win one, other than the fact that they were going to score a touchdown.
Oh shit! So you put it back in. I haven't put mine back in. Wait, I did. I lied. So there's another no-brainer this weekend. Not this weekend. I'm not sure when the game's coming up. Did you see it for the Lakers game?
I did, and I got up off of my sorry, sad, depressive stance on betting, and I got right back on the horse. So I did put my money down, which it sounds like, what is that? That's a different one, where if like everyone keeps putting money down, then they lower or they make the odds better for everybody.
So the original over was $200, and if they score over that, 200 points if they score, which is pretty common in the NBA. That's definitely almost a given right there. So every 1,000 people to bet on that spread, it lowers it by 1 point. And right now, from the last update I heard, it's at 100 points as the over.
Oh, so we're good.
So we're for sure gonna get that money. That'll hopefully we deposit. I mean, we withdraw that, but let's double it. Let's put it on something else.
That's what I need to do. I need to, when I do win, because I was on a little winning streak, but I never pulled my money, and then I got cocky and I started putting out like $5 here, $5 here, $5 here. I had like 6 bets out this weekend, and I lost all of them. And then the Hawkeyes, we'll get into that, I'm sure, but they are not helping me out right now.
No, never bet on the Hawkeyes and never bet against Tom Brady. If you're smart, and you would be a lot more well off than what we are right now, according to our DraftKings account. But this is the dreaded week, Bryce. It's Valentine's week, and I think we've talked about this on a few other episodes. But let's reflect on it. What was it, last year's? Oh yeah, it was last year's. I messed up. Scott messed up. And you messed up. Tell me a little bit about your Valentine's experience last year.
So I started out good. Kind of sabotaged Valentine's Day a little bit. I wasn't dating anybody at the time, and I know that the day before Valentine's Day is typically referred to as Galentine's Day. So I slid in the DMs and I was like, "Hey, let's go and do a Galentine's." And Scott, Dusty, Darian, and I went out to a Mexican restaurant that is no longer in business in Waterloo called the Blue Iguana. We had a really good dinner, other than the fact that Scott was on painkillers because he had just broken his arm the week before. So buddy old Scott Burak was up Derringers and dancing around on the dance floor, getting groovy, and fell and broke his arm. So he was on painkillers, but I did good there. The next day, hang out with the girl again, and we're not really talking, not really dating. And so I go over there. I think we have like a dinner at her place, and then I ditch. I go to Voodoo that night. So she was
You just left
expecting
her.
like a whole night of like hanging out and whatnot, and I left. So I was in the doghouse. While I'm there, Scott not only has a terrible dinner, he pisses off Dusty, his girlfriend. Then the next day forgets to buy her a gift, and then breaks her TV. And all the while, I'm still on painkillers. I mean,
How
he
did you
really
break
had
her?
it.
How did you break her TV again? Did you just like hit it with the remote or something in his pocket?
Yeah, he was just stumbling around, acting foolish. I think he was just pretty out of it, and I she might have like thrown something, and he was like dodging it and hit it, or I don't remember exactly, but he was not. He was in the doghouse. I think he probably wins worst Valentine's Day performance last year. I think I mine wasn't terrible, but it was pretty bad. Tell me about yours, because yours is kind of funny too.
You witnessed the full force of mine.
Yeah.
I as well came empty-handed on Valentine's Day. I think we started off with the Olive Garden. I did not want to go to Olive Garden, but we went there anyways. Came back. She paid for the meal. Come back. She's giving me all these gifts, and I didn't have a single thing for her. And her freaking face was, "I'm gonna freaking kill you, Nathan Creeps." And she just storms off, and you watch her to storm off. I walk upstairs, like, you're like, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "I didn't get her a single thing." You're like, "Oh, yep." That was the last we saw for her that night, and and that escalated into a week long dramatic series. But lesson learned: girls are expected something on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
They're expecting company, attention, and gifts and flowers. I think the three of us learned that.
I think so too. And
And this shout out to the girls. They do deserve something. They put up
they do.
all our boy crap, and we were just selfish last year. And this year we got much better women in our lives, and we're gonna perform. I'm ready.
You learn from mistakes. You don't learn from victories, and I think that that's going to be something that I bring into this year's Valentine's Day, which I do not have plans for exactly yet. A lot of the girls that Darian's friends with are asking, "What is he planning on?" And her answer is probably nothing, which is like zero faith that she has in me. But that's fine. I'll do
We
something.
can only outperform this year.
Yeah. Low expectations is always good. I hate when
Yeah.
people have high expectations for something, because then you're setting yourself up to be let down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about low expectations. Since we're talking about Valentine's Day, I'm going to get into the cookie saucy question of the week, because it is related to Valentine's Day. Do you think that men and women should be celebrated equally on Valentine's Day?
No.
Okay.
I think this is more of a day to celebrate the female.
Okay.
One, because they also deserve it. Two, I can give a shit less about Valentine's Day. I'm saying, like, I don't care if I get anything. I really don't. I mean, cool relationship, cool. It's time to celebrate the girl.
Yeah. If the whole thing didn't exist, I'd be pumped. If you want to make if men want to make a holiday to commercialize love, I think our punishment is that we have to buy gifts for it. So like, I don't necessarily expect anything. It's been kind of a big topic though. All the roommates say that men should be celebrated equally. I don't if she gets me something, or if she wants to do something special, I don't necessarily care, but I don't expect anything for sure.
True. Yeah, I don't. I really, like I said, like from your perspective, I just don't care. I don't care if I get anything. If not, it won't make or break my day. So that being said, I think it needs to be celebrated for the girl.
Yeah, yeah. I girls are gonna receive it more graciously than guys. Guys are like, this is kind of like, that's fine and all. I like the idea of you celebrating me, but like, this is a lovey-dovey holiday. Let's make it about the girls. I don't know. But I think that was a interesting debate from this last weekend.
I've been notoriously bad on Valentine's Day. But a couple years ago, my other girlfriend, she got me tickets to an Iowa game, and I influenced my cousin to buy tickets on that same day to come with us right down together. He rode shotgun, she rode backseat. We rode all the way down the Iowa City to go watch the game and back, and she was not happy about that. So this year's a new year for the girl and for the girl only. It'll do you and I favors if we dedicate this Sunday to our woman.
Yeah, I just think that you have to go through Valentine's days where you kind of screw up to realize that this is actually something that they take very seriously, and then you perform at the highest level. Like, you don't realize until you've had a significant other that you like truly care about how much like this little stuff means. I think we finally know. So I have high hopes for us.
We'll have to recap this Valentine's Day. Bryce was hopping the Super Bowl. I really don't even want to talk about the Super Bowl. I think the good thing that came out of the Super Bowl is that there was a fan streaker. Did you see that?
I did see that. That was Mahomes just looked so defeated at that point. 5 minutes and 30 seconds or so on the clock, and this fan starts streaking, and I think he gets a touchdown. He made it all the way across the field.
And got tackled at the 1 yard line.
Oh,
yep. So he slipped away at the 34-yard line. At that time, he was stripping. And he had a brawl on. Bigger fan, but he also had two heavier security guards. He dodged one, got a few fan rumbles for that, and gave himself up on the 1 yard line. And I took targeting contact to his head. Should have been a 15-yard penalty. And then it's got swarmed by state troopers and security guards, but didn't quite make it to the end zone. But that was the most exciting thing in the Super Bowl.
By far, the Chiefs didn't score a touchdown. They looked like they were outmatched the whole time, and I hadn't realized that a couple of their offensive linemen were out for the game. That made all the difference, I think. There was a few penalties that made all the difference on the defensive side for the Chiefs, and then on the offensive side, they could not protect Mahomes. He was running around scrambling the whole game, and it wasn't even close from start to finish.
Yeah, it's something crazy about like 57 pass backs, and 29 of those pass backs were rushed against Patrick Mahomes. So he was constantly throughout the night scrambling to protect it, just to keep the play alive. What did we expect? This was in Tom Brady's backyard at Raymond James Stadium, where they've been playing all season, in their weather, in their environment, with probably more of their fan base. We should probably expect more of an outcome favor in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I don't know why people were doubting him after he took down Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes.
Right. What a freaking journey he went.
That's one of the hardest I've ever heard.
Really reflect on until I saw that, until all the names that he took down. I mean, that's the MVP. Mahomes, probably the greatest quarterback for the youth right now, the young quarterbacks. And then Drew Brees, rest in peace. He's retired, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I think he just finished.
So, I mean, that's an incredible lineup for him just to march through at age 43. I'm assuming after this season, he's probably going to come back.
Yeah, well, he was up there. He was receiving, I think, the MVP trophy, and said he was coming back for sure. He looked spry. He didn't look bad at all. He was rifling the ball to his receivers. He didn't look. He's never been mobile. He could never run, so his arm looked good.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that a little bit of Drew Brees. Drew Brees can't quite toss the ball down the field due to his age, but Tom Brady can still do that. So I feel like we'll probably see Tom Brady back in this Super Bowl this next year.
Yeah.
And unless if you have anything else you want to hop onto the Super Bowl, I'm ready to jump into.
I think I mentioned it already, but Tristan Wirth got, from the Iowa alumni, gets his ring. And I saw a stat today that he allowed one sack out of like
779.
Yeah, 779 pass backs. So that's really, really cool. I think at any level, if any team would have made it and won the Super Bowl, there would have been somebody from the state of Iowa or they graduated from a state school that would have won a ring. Cool to see Tristan, because Tristan just graduated recently, and I definitely remember him playing. So that was fun.
And there's a defensive tackle. I can't remember if it's Anthony Nelson or Matt Nelson from
Anthony
Iowa.
Nelson.
Anthony Nelson. Okay, so he's part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So 2 new Hawkeyes this year add to the ring for the Super Bowl. Last year, I think there's Ben Neiman. Hitchens or something that plays linebacker for Kansas City, but it's the playoff run this year has been notoriously dominant by Iowa players, and I think we'll be seeing that years to come. Speaking of Iowa, Bryce, I gotta play something real quick.
SOS. Panic.
That is sounding the panic alarm for the Iowa men's basketball team this season. Lost 4 of the last 5, fall to 6th in the conference at 13-6 record. What in the hell is going on?
So 2 losses to Indiana, 1 to Ohio State, 1 win against Michigan State, which they almost lost. And what was the other game?
Oh, so Ohio State here. I got the right.
2 Indiana's, here. Ohio State, Michigan State.
Got swept by freaking and then Illinois, which was a close game at Illinois, which I expected to lose.
Illinois and Ohio State, I'm okay with. The guard play for both teams they outmatched the Hawkeyes. The defense is absolutely atrocious. The fact that we're losing to teams like Indiana really scares me. I don't know how to feel about that. What is your thought on the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, you're right. We should not be at least being swept by Indiana, who, if we were to beat them, they would be at 50% overall in the year. That game's just terrible. I want to start off with Franz. He lives and dies by this rule for some reason. When a player gets 2 fouls, with no matter how much time is left on the clock in the first half, he tends to sit him for the remainder of the half. Okay?
Yes.
So keep a note. Guards assist. So 12 minutes go. Hawkeyes up 9-point lead. We watched a 9-point lead vanish into an 11-0 run where Indiana takes the lead by 2 at halftime. Garza doesn't get a foul for the rest of the game. Indiana wins by 2.
You got to trust your players to be smart for the rest of the game. And I understand that that's not always the case, but when you have a guy like Garza, who's potentially a Naismith player of the year, you have to trust him and you have to keep him in there, because I don't care who you're playing. And that's why I hesitate a little bit when I say I don't think you should be getting swept by teams like Indiana, because I think we know that Iowa is a better team than that. But at the same time, anytime you play a Big Ten opponent, you are at risk of losing, and you need your star players to play every minute that they can. And I don't think 2 fouls is a good enough reason in the first half to sit somebody. Not when it's a smart player like Garza.
Especially with 12 minutes left. And you're right. You have to trust a player. Not only are you trusting a player, but you're trusting potential Naismith player of the year. I'm like, this guy's intelligent enough to keep himself out of foul trouble, make the right play, make the smart play, keep himself in the game where he can still make an impact throughout the rest of the game, or for at least the remainder of the half. But Fran jails him, follows his players out in the first half, and it's driven me nuts for years. And now we're doing it with Luka Garza, and we're at a point we're risking the Big Ten conference right now. Like we're projected to be like a top 3 seed. Now we're fighting arguably to be like a 5-6 seed. Once you get to a 5 or 6 seed in the NCAA tournament, it just makes competition that much tougher. I think we'll be lucky to get out of the Sweet 16 now.
I heard people say that earlier in the season too, that they weren't sure, especially after the way that Gonzaga handled us, and Illinois really exposed us, and the guard play is not there. And I think that really worried people. What I've seen is when Garza gets pushed out of the lane, we have a hard time getting in the flow of offense. And then if we don't have our offense, we've seen holes in the defense all year. So I do worry a little bit about how we're going to perform. I don't want to be any lower than a 5 seed. I'll tell you that. In the NCAA tournament, you want to get the best seed possible. But I'm not going to sound the panic alarm yet. I actually don't mind getting some scratches and bruises at this time of the year. And it's typical. It's known as Franuary, right? I think that when you get beaten and bruised right now, you have a chance to recoup. So they have 8 games left, 10 games left.
7.
I think that they have time to rebound.
You're right. I thought about not sounding the panic alarm, but I feel like if I didn't sound the panic alarm now, things wouldn't be fixed.
No, it's probably good.
So I'm sounding the panic alarm now, just hopefully they begin to fix faster and quicker.
It's like a warning. It's not like it's over. It's just a warning. Like,
right.
Hey, kick it into gear.
I'm sounding my warning towards the basketball team. And like it. So that him following his players out in the first half drives me nuts. And the one other thing that really drives me nuts is this flipping zone we play. The zone defense. We already have the lazy ass defense team we have. I'll be the first to own up to. Okay, I mean everybody knows it. We can't be oblivious. We're not a defensive squad, but when you play a lazy zone, you're allowing an already lazy team to be even less active on the defensive side of the court. I mean, it's just like kind of a matchup zone. You're like, hey, you scribble, you kind of take this area. When you play man to man, I think these players are more independent and they have to stick to their guy. You know, they got to bring more of the energy to stay focused to that man. When you play a lazy zone, they're just giving up. And the first half of that game yesterday, the first 10 minutes we played man, and I thought our defense looked fantastic. For once, not fantastic, but better than it has all season. And at some point, Fran McCaffrey says, let's switch the zone, see how this works out. It remains in zone for the rest of the game. And what do you see? A freaking 11-0 run, and Indiana has all the momentum throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Zone needs to die.
It's a Swiss cheese defense, and I don't know why it necessarily is that way, because I feel like we have a pretty athletic team. And I don't know what's the idea behind this staying in this zone. I like the full pressure. What is it? 1-3-1 zone. I actually don't mind that. I think
I like that.
That forces people into a rushed offense. I kind of like that. I don't understand why we can't man up on people a little bit more, though. Like when people are starting to hit their shots, you need to be able to man up and play.
Right. We just give them open threes. That's my most frustrated aspect of the game. Like you cannot give a team an open three. They're Division I players. They're eventually going to start knocking them down.
The apparent thing is better defense. We need Jordan Bohannon and CJ Frederick to step up and be solid. And if those guys aren't scoring, it's clear that we're going to struggle.
Oh man, have we missed CJ Frederick? Hopefully, we're not really sure what's going on with his leg injury, but it's happened long enough. So
yeah.
Our next game is Wednesday versus Rutgers, who have found their rhythm. Yeah. Rutgers have crawled back into the top 25 rankings. That was a heated match at the rack a couple weeks ago, and I'm expecting the same one in Cover Hawkeye Wednesday. This is a must-win.
It's a must-win. Iowa's really the only. I mean, Drake and Iowa are the only competitive teams in Iowa. I was actually pleased with Iowa State that they covered the spread on Saturday. And they've actually had a couple of good games recently where it looks like they have a chance to win. They're not going to be competitive in the Big 12 at the end of the day, but kind of good to see that they don't have any quit in them. Drake did take their first loss. What was going on with Drake? You've been following pretty closely.
Drake's been tiptoeing with some of the teams in the conference these last couple games. So as we know, in the Missouri Valley Conference, you play back-to-back days. You play the same opponent at the same venue, back-to-back days because of COVID reasons. This last time they were playing Illinois State, who was probably the second worst team in the MVC. Luckily, they escaped in the first game, won by 2 points against Illinois State in overtime. Second day, they beat them by like 30 or so. Okay. Now they go against Valparaiso at Valparaiso. Valparaiso had about a 13-point lead with 4 minutes left. Drake came back and won again. So they're notorious for it. So they've been tiptoeing the water a lot. And this last time, the deficit was just too large at 20 points with about 4 minutes left. Drake just couldn't quite hold on. Takes the first loss of the season, but I think that's a good loss, right? You want to get it now, figure things out, realize that you're human, humble yourself a little bit, and now just rebuild from it
in a different way than the Hawkeyes. I feel like it's one of those, like if you're losing now, cool. As an undefeated team, you're not so worried about keeping that undefeated season. You're more worried about playing your best basketball. And I think with Iowa, it's like get your chips and your scratches and your bruises now, and play fundamental and in the way that you've always, that we know that you can play later. At one point, Drake and Iowa were predicted to be in the Final Four. I don't think that anybody's saying that right now.
Nope, everybody's completely forgot about that, and we did not say that on a podcast 2 weeks ago. We were joking about that.
I'm not ruling it out. Because I have literally nothing going well in my life right now. I'm gonna cheer for it.
Screw it, why not?
We need sports. We're in the polar vortex, almost polar vortex. We need sports. I want to believe in the boys. Who's surprising you in college basketball?
No one really, besides Gonzaga and Baylor are just so much better than everybody else. I've watched them both play. Baylor's would destroy Iowa right now in their defense. They just score. They play tough the entire game. They're man-to-man defense, and then Gonzaga just has scores. I can't believe we only lost them by 9 or 11, but there's a lot of season left to be played. But really, no one's really surprised me other than Drake.
Yeah. Drake was a big surprise, and cool to see how long that they lasted undefeated. Totally agree with you on Gonzaga and Baylor. Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky are my biggest surprises. They are
okay. No one's surprised me being good. Yes, but yes,
those guys being awful is weird.
Surprisingly bad. Yes.
I did catch the
Notorious
Duke
Blue
North Carolina
Bloods.
game. We had some money on that game. Decided to tune in, even though it was really not the typical matchup where 11-6 and 7-6 North Carolina and Duke face off. Man, that was a terrible game. I did not enjoy watching it. There was zero defense, really no stars. Everyone's getting wide open threes. At one point, Jeremy and I decided that they were playing worse defense than Iowa, so that's saying something.
Who won?
North Carolina did, and I think they play again this weekend.
Was it at Duke or North Carolina?
It was at Duke.
Okay.
Yeah, so Duke's only played 13 games. Maybe they were favored, but I think they might have been, a little bit rustier, for lack of a better word. But it was not the typical tight defense, quality scorers, tough guys down low. I didn't see anything that impressed me from either of those teams, which just is so surprising because you have such a historied program. How do you not continue being at the top of the game? But I'm sure it's a little harder than we think just sitting in the booth here.
Yeah, right. Typically every year, that's the most promoted game throughout college basketball is Duke versus North Carolina. I didn't hear one single word about it probably until a half hour before tip off. And when I saw it on the lower screen of the ESPN, Duke versus North Carolina, so I'm like, oh shit, they put tonight. Yeah, I didn't give two shits about it, and then you only backed my word up on that. Just being a terrible game, and North Carolina squeaking one out against them.
Okay, you got a note here that says Dogecoin, and I want to know what you have been doing on the investment front.
Yes, Bryce. I've been minimizing my gambling and reinvesting my gambling winnings into the stock market.
That is solid.
I've been messing around with Dogecoin. Okay. So I'll tell you about my little journey throughout Dogecoin. So my brother's been telling me all about this, the rise in stocks this last week with like GameStop. I didn't get on GameStop, but he's like, okay, no, AMC is the one going up. I'm like, okay, cool. So I jump on AMC. I throw like $70 in. And at that time it was like a $16 a share. And all of a sudden, Robinhood locks my app or locks my trading. So I can't trade it. And so I had to sit there for 2 hours and just watch my stock lower. And I couldn't trade. I had no idea. I was right before work. Like, what the hell is going on? I was trying so hard to fucking trade it and I just couldn't trade it. So I just lost all my money on that. I'm like, damn it. And then he's like, no, okay, no, it's Dogecoin. No, Dogecoin's going up this week. I'm like, nope, I'm not buying Dogecoin. And then I finally said, screw it. It keeps going up. I'm buying it. As soon as I bought it, tanks. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, whatever. And I'm like, screw it. I'm done with the stock market. I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't even care. Next couple of days, it starts going up again. I get pumped. And then ever since then, it's been consistently on the rise. So right now, I've made about $500,000 off of Dogecoin, and I'm holding on. I'm holding on till I go to the fucking moon with Elon Musk, the Jonas Brothers, Soulja Boy, and Snoop Dogg. They're on the Dogecoin train. It's been quite the ride.
That is quite the esteemed company that you're in. I
don't even know what it is. I have no idea what it is. It's a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, crypto of some kind. Cryptos usually unlock some part of society, or they're like some sort of protection or backing of some kind, something that you would do in normal life. I have no idea how it works. But for 2 weeks now, we've been going on this GameStop, AMC, Dogecoin. Dogecoin is the really only one that's relevant nowadays. But absolute robbery, in my opinion, of Robinhood. If I get involved, I will be using a different app. There's a couple others, DJ and Buddy Parker are saying there's a couple other apps to, get involved in. I'm always weary because now that Elon Musk is involved, I'm a little bit worried that there's not going to be anybody else that can really push this thing forward. Like, he really, really got things going again.
As soon as he tweeted it, went up like 5 or 10%. That's why I'm like, holy shit, why is my stock going up? And that really is Elon.
Yeah. So I don't know now if I feel like I would be in the same situation you were with GameStop and AMC, but my brother's been doing a little bit. He's making some money. Maybe I should get out of the gambling world and spend more time researching and spending more money on the stock market, because the gambling world is doing me very dirty.
Yep. I think I got it at the right time, but those no-brainer bets kind of pull me in for the $25.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Playing with free money is always okay. I'm going to keep enough in there just so I can put down those free bets. You mentioned the Jonas Brothers. I did not realize that there was a younger Jonas brother.
What? Wait, so there's the three. Is there another Jonas brother younger than Nick?
Joe, Kevin, Nick, Frankie.
Never heard of him.
is a TikTok sensation. Never heard of him. He is like the most viral guy ever on TikTok right now because he plays into the fact that 0 people know that there's a fourth Jonas brother.
Is he worse than Jackson Mahomes?
Jackson Mahomes is the absolute worst thing on the internet. I've honestly not seen this, but I've just looked at his engagement and it's wicked. I had no idea that this guy existed. And I think the rest of the world is in the same boat.
I had no idea either. Okay, hang on, watch this with me.
Yeah. No. I don't want to watch Jackson Mahomes.
How miserable is that to watch?
That's just some of the, that's why I almost have to get off the app.
Dude, he's terrible.
So my feed now on TikTok is a lot more customized and I really enjoy it. But right away it was this generic like boys like just like snarling at the camera, yeah, dancing. Like I'm like, woo, I don't know if I can do TikTok. This is not my cup of tea. I really don't like Jackson Mahomes though.
You gotta send Jackson Mahomes TikToks to Jeremy. It makes my day.
Yeah.
He hates him more than anyone, but I hate him too. I'll send him to my girlfriend too, and she's like, God, don't send that ever again to me.
I don't respect anybody that gets clout from other people's accomplishments. Like, fine, if you got a personality and you like also are contributing to something, I got it. But in my opinion, he has nothing. He's not a good dancer. He's not like, positive vibes. He's not. What does he have to offer other than like he's literally Patrick Mahomes' brother?
His brother makes $500 million from a contract, and that's it. That is the only relevant news of Jackson Mahomes' life. And I watch this. Oh my God. I like getting frustrated sometimes. So when I want to be frustrated, I go to Jackson Mahomes TikTok and it works perfect for me.
It just keeps the fuel going.
Yep.
I should try that. Especially nowadays, I need something to just keep the fuel going. Can't go outside.
No, we can't. Well, folks, we wish we had more to talk about this week. It's been a terrible week for sports weather, but hopefully by the end of this week, some bright signs come through. We survived Valentine's Day. Bryce, do you have any big predictions this week or something you're looking forward to?
Minnesota Timberwolves will not cover the spread against the Clippers on February 10th. Other than that, it's time to get in the NBA. I'm a little sad that the NFL is over. It's always a sad day after the Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm looking forward to a rebound. Rutgers would be a good test. If Iowa can pull off the win against Rutgers, I still have faith. I think that we're going to be a little happier next week. That's my optimist coming through, that when we talk next week, the Hawks are going to be back on the rails.
It can only go from here.
All right.
We just got to get through this week, and then next week should be Mr. Sunshine, hopefully.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Dogecoin to the moon.
Peace. Everyone have a good week.